Welcome to Sightings of the Unknown. This is Season 1. Today I'm going to tell you about a cemetery, a haunted cemetery called Doss. Doss Cemetery was first introduced to me by a guy named Donald. We were taking a ride past there, and he's telling me a story that years ago in the 30s there were supposed to have been two lovers who broke up, and the girl was chasing the other guy in her car and lost control and wrapped the car around a tree, and of course it was killed. And as he's telling me this story about why this place is haunted, we're riding along and I'm looking into the woods and I see a dark mass moving along through the woods. And I'm thinking that he really is, I sure am being awful sympathetic to this story, because I can't hardly believe it. I'm seeing anything, and I don't say anything to him about it. Later, probably a day or two later, a friend of mine was going out on a date, and I was with him, and this is like the first time he was going to date this girl, so I was sort of chaperone. And he stops to get her a drink, and he asked me if I wanted a drink. I told him no, I was fine. So while he's getting her a drink, she tells me that he's got a lot of money, don't she? And I said, well, his parents got some money, I guess. And she said, boy, I sure hope I can get my hands on some of it. So I told her, well, I believe I will get me a drink after all. And I got out, and being his best friend, I felt like I had to tell him. And so I tell him, and he's like, dang. He said, I really liked her too. He said, I'm just going to take her home. He said, I wish we could do something to her a little bit, just to, and I said, well, I said, a guy just told me about a haunted cemetery. I said, it's pretty close to her house too, actually. I said, we could ride over there, and I said, I could tell her this story that I heard and scare her a little bit. And I said, then you take her home. And so we head over there, and we pull up, and it's one of those nights where the clouds are going by and the moon's pretty much full, and she's in the back seat. He's put her in the back, and me and him are in the front seat of his Z28 Camaro. And you can see these stones out in the cemetery, and there's no lights from this spot that you can see. There's no houses right next to it or anything. And you just pull up on the side of this dirt road, and it's got an old, creepy looking wrought iron fence that goes around it, and the stones are real old. And so we pull up, and the clouds are passing by, and so they're blocking the moon, and the stones are lighting up and going dark, and it looks creepy. And so I start telling this story about the girl chasing her lover. I haven't got 30 seconds into this story, and something jumps on top of the car. Something that weighed hundreds of pounds. It had to weigh 600 pounds for the car to go down like it did. The whole car just squatted. And we all looked at each other. And Mike looked at me, and he said, see what it is? And I said, take off, man. I ain't not looking out there. The girl, she's screaming her head off, and we take off, and this thing stays on the car for about a quarter of a mile before it lifts off. And just as soon as it lifts off, you can feel the car come right up. I mean, way up. And shoot, probably 5 or 6 miles from there, he actually runs into a center divider where he's still so scared. You know, we're all scared. And that's the second thing that I ever seen happen at Doss Cemetery. I've heard other people talk about having similar episodes. One time I was sitting there and I saw a white ball come rolling up the road, and it looked like a volleyball, but when it got up beside the car as it was rolling past, I could tell it wasn't a ball at all. It was a circular ball of light, and it kept on going right on past the car. Of course, I cranked up and left. But I've got one more story that I'll tell at a different time about Doss, and this was that's the end of the story. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed tales, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.